Hey everybody, Ben here, and so next week is Thanksgiving. I know 2022 is just kind of flowing right by us. So I wanted to take a second and talk about, I'm going to take these off because the glare is bothering me a little bit. I want to take a second and talk about what I'm going to do with this video. So this is the Thanksgiving special. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be covering a handful of behaviors that will be useful during the holiday period. Now, I want to preface this by saying, if you haven't already practiced these behaviors, you really should. I've got videos on all of them, but I'm going to practice all of them kind of in short today, just kind of give you a rough idea about what we're looking at. And but what the idea is how can dog training help you have an easier Thanksgiving? And the first thing I will tell any client is, if you cannot modify, you manage, right? And what I mean by that is there's a time to train, and there's a time to accept that the dog in front of you is not going to go or undergo a radical change very quickly, like this dog in front of me right here. He's about to get into it. There it is. He's not going to undergo a radical change very quickly, and because of that, sometimes you have to manage if you can't modify, which means making sound, safe choices for your canine companion when they can't be trusted to make those choices. So, for example, if you have a counter surfer, which we're lucky that this guy hasn't figured out how to counter surf yet. I know, camera hog. If you have a counter surfer, then the easiest thing to do, especially around Thanksgiving, let me move this dog out of my lap. Okay, the easiest thing to do around Thanksgiving is to not allow your dog in the kitchen, which means if you have to either make sure that the food is not in a position where the dog can get to it, or go and get a baby gate and put a baby gate up around your kitchen, something else, some kind of area denial, right? So remember that management is a perfectly sound way to enjoy the holidays with your dog, right? You don't have to have a perfectly well-trained animal to have a perfectly enjoyable holiday. That being said, the behaviors that are about to follow are behaviors that will be useful during that time. The behaviors we're covering today are spot, or go to bed, down, stay, and leave it. Again, I've got videos for all of these here on my channel under those names. You'll be able to find them. The spot video is a little bit longer because that was a live version of that video, but we are going to work on that a little bit today. A couple weeks we're going to do a special Christmas episode once we get the tree up. And in that episode what we'll do is we'll cover specifically what to do with Christmas trees. But again, we'll probably talk on some of these other issues. So, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'm glad that you're watching. If you have any questions, comment below, or always reach out directly, and I'd be happy to answer your questions. If there's a video that you want to see in particular, please let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the video. Everybody have a safe and happy Thanksgiving, and I'll see you soon. Alright, so behavior number one we're looking at is spot or go to bed. Now remember, this cue does take a little bit of time to practice. You need to make sure that when you're doing this cue that you're defining it very well. Usually what I tell clients is the first step of defining go to bed or spot is all 4 feet on the location. Before you can expect anything else to happen there, you have to identify what this area is to the dog. You see a dog bed, your dog just sees a slightly comfier spot on the floor, right? So, go to spot or bed, keep it down to one word. My hand signal for this is usually like I have a seat motion like this, right? So go to your bed, go to your spot, keep it down to one word, bed, spot, place, rainbow, I don't really care, pick a word, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to use the one in our Florida room. When you're doing this in relation to Thanksgiving, you want to make sure that the location is close enough to where you can see the dog, far enough away from all the food that is so tasty and potentially dangerous to your dog. So, for my case, it's going to be the Florida room. The living room is adjacent to the kitchen. We have a bed in there, but it doesn't get used very often. Christoph tends to use this dog bed a lot. Some other tips that can help. Make sure your dog bed is a different color than the carpet around it. It doesn't always have to be blue, but blue and yellow are the colors they see the best. This dog bed is red. It's red because it's cheap. We bought it after Christmas for a couple of dollars in the anticipation of getting a puppy, and we have been using it like that. So keep in mind, you want to make sure that the dog is comfortable there and that it's in a space that the dog's comfortable in. Kristoff's very comfortable out here in the Florida room. I'm going to apologize for some background noise. They have chosen today of all days to repave our road, and they're apparently going to do the whole process in like 1 hour. So there's a little bit of background noise. I apologize about that. I'm going to adjust the camera, and then we'll get started. Alright, so you can see, just so I can see, this is the dog bed I'm going to put Kristoff on. Okay? If you don't have your cue very well established yet, you're going to lure the dog onto the dog bed. Kristoff, come here. Now, I'm luring him. I want to try to get all 4 feet on there. Almost. Close enough. Let's try it from the other angle. He's a little big for this bed, to be fair. And it's been washed so many times, it's pretty much lost all of its shape. Oh, hey, why did I click for that? I'll answer it in a second, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to put a hand cue on it. Kristoff, come here. All right. Bed. Almost. Okay, I'll settle for that. Again, he's a little big for this bed. He got bigger than we thought he would be. Come here. Come here. No, I don't want Paul. So angry that your mom taught you Paul. Bed? Okay. Bed? Alright, now I'm going to try to guide him to the bed, but without walking all the way to it. Bed. Hey, there we go. Okay. We did 8 treats. I gave him 2 at the end because he did really well. So, you saw my hand cue for that, which was the bed. Almost like have a seat, right? I clicked for the one instance where he downed because that's the next step, is down. And that's the next part of this video. Alright, so we just worked on go to bed, in which case I was just using the word bed. Now what we're going to work on is down and stay at the same time. The reason I'm combining these 2 behaviors is because Kristoff's actually pretty good at down, and his stay game is already kind of strong. But this is the next step in giving your dog some kind of modification when it comes to Thanksgiving. If the dog cannot be in the kitchen where all the good food is, where can the dog be? So, let's work on our down stay. Again, I'm going to angle the camera here to make sure I can see it. And you can see it. Wonderful. We're going to try to do 8 repetitions of this behavior. I just like sets of 4. Alright, so he's on the bed. Awesome. He's already sitting. Great. Now, if your dog has issues, you can lure it down if you like. You're going to make a liar out of me today. No paw. Down. And stay. Return to the dog, click and reward. Then do it again. Okay. Bed. Almost. Bed. Excellent. Stay. Excellent. Good boy. We're going to do this a couple more times. Bed. Stay. 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 Almost. Good. Down. Down. Kristoff, don't look at the cat. Down. We're going to get a little crowded here because Philip came to help. Down. Stay. Good boy. Let's see if we can't... We're going to do this on the fly. I don't know if this will make it into the final copy. Let's see if we can't get Philip to do this. Philip, look. Good boy. Philip. Come here. Or not. He might be in a scavenging mode right now. Alright, Philip, look. Philip. Good boy. Stay. Good boy. Now let's try both dogs real quick. I haven't done this since I've had Flynn, or since we lost Flynn. We're going to try both dogs, and Kristoff and I down. Kristoff, down. And if you're doing this with 2 dogs, 1 dog bed is not sufficient. You need 2 dog beds. Good boy, Philip. Kristoff, down. Down. Yes, I know, brother is scary. He's a little nervous because Philip is such a scary dog. Okay, down. Good boy, Philip. Down. Down. Good boys. Stay. Good dogs. Hey, good dogs. Okay. Dog training is about fluidity, guys. And that being said, sometimes you have to modify as you're modifying, I guess. So that was actually pretty fun. Philip usually doesn't take place in these videos, or take part in these videos, as you know. He showed up, and I just kind of rolled with it. Again, that's something else you need to keep in mind as you work with your dog, is fluidity in what we're doing. Okay? Alright, so the next step is leave it. We're going to leave it on something that's really interesting. Alright, everybody. So we're going to work on our last behavior for the day, and then we're going to talk about a little bit more about management. So we've covered go to bed or go to spot on cue, which gets your dog away from whatever it is that they shouldn't be doing in the kitchen, usually on Thanksgiving. We covered down and stay. Once, what do we do once we get there? Now we're going to cover an important thing, which is leave it. Now, if you haven't practiced leave it, practicing on a piece of Thanksgiving turkey is not the ideal scenario. I recommend practicing on a bag of cheap dog treats. I will point out real quick that if they did somehow go absolutely crazy, there's this little thing that keeps the treats dry. That thing is highly toxic to dogs and people. So it's not like there isn't some level of danger here. But again, if you're going to practice with something, make sure you don't have anything like that in the bag. Okay, why am I practicing with dog treats? Mainly because those are safer than practicing with like a turkey leg. So we're not going to practice with any people food, we're going to practice with some dog treats. And what we're going to do is we're going to establish our leave it. Now in this case, we're going to treat this as if this were a turkey leg. It's got a bunch of bone and gristle and things that get stuck in throats and stomachs, and we'll send you to the emergency vet on Thanksgiving Day. We're going to treat it as if it were a dangerous object my dogs cannot have, right? Establish your leave it at point of interest, not point of intention. So when I'm looking at it, but before I'm moving towards it. Remember to be calm. You don't have to be loud and angry. A simple leave it, look, touch, whatever, and move the dog away. If you can't physically, or if you can't cue the dog with just verbal cues or hand cues, it's okay to physically move your dog, but just be careful. Watch how I'm doing this. I'm going to move very slowly and very deliberately in case my dog has some kind of resource guarding issues. Okay? I've got both dogs out here with me. I don't know how this is going to go, but we're going to be doing this on the fly, so I hope you enjoy this. Alright, let me adjust. Y'all get a good look at my Christmas t-shirt, which my mother-in-law got me. Y'all know us, you know we like Disney a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to get a couple of treats here. Again, we're using good old reliable beef liver, and you can see how I've got it cut up. Nope, already have some interest. Put this down. Christoph, leave it. Christoph, leave it. Good boy. Touch. Good boy. Yes, Philip. You too. Now, you notice I didn't go and get him. Now, what do you do when I stopped interacting with him? Christoph, leave it. Good boy. Touch. Good boy. Why am I not saying look? Because he's already looking at me as soon as I say his name. Let's try this with Philip real quick. Philip. See it? Philip, leave it. Good boy. Touch. Come on, Philip. Good boy. Okay. Christoph, leave it. Good boy. Oh, what's happening here, guys? You can see both dogs. Why are my dogs not interacting with it? I cut up a whole bunch of treats and it didn't work. Philip, leave it. Good boy. I don't know if y'all could see that because I was getting more treats. Let me grab a few more real quick. Okay. Philip, leave it. Good boy. Good, leave it. Philip, leave it. Good boy. Touch it. Good boy. And why are they not showing interest in the bag of treats anymore? I cut up all these extra treats. Why is this? Philip, leave it. Good boy. Touch. Good boy. I'm going to give him one more time. Christoph, leave it. Good boy. All right. Leave it. Christoph, leave it. Philip, leave it. Good dogs. Good dogs. This is rare. I don't get to work with both of them at the same time. Anybody else want to check this out? No? Okay. Ah, leave it. Good boy. Touch. All right. Funny story. Philip used to go where we kept our treats at our old house. Kept them on a shelf in our bathroom, and kept some treats down there. And he would go and grab them off the shelf. And when we moved into this house, he didn't do it for a long time. And then a couple weeks ago, he started going into our closet where we keep the treats and dragging out bags of treats. All right, so leave it. Point of interest. Dog is looking at it. I'm going to say leave it. You notice I was actually angry. I was pretty happy sounding. I want my dogs to feel like this is a happy opportunity to walk away from something. Touch cue if I need to move them. Obviously, if I drop something and I'm leaving the room, does the dog need to leave with me? Yes, they do. I don't want my dog to be staying in the room with me. If I spill some food or something like that on the floor, then my dog needs to make an exit with me. Because if you noticed, they started leaving it alone when after I reinforced it a couple of times. They weren't interacting with the bag of treats anymore. The reason they started doing that is I had established a rule pretty quickly that he's just going to tell us to leave it alone, so there's no point in interacting with it. If I leave, then the rules change. And so the turkey leg that's on the kitchen floor that you need to go grab some paper towels or something to clean up, you're going to wind up having to clean, say leave it again. And if you leave the dog in there with the food will not be there when you get back. So if you're ever having to get your dog to leave something like food, knocked over turkey, spilled stuffing, whatever, take your dog with you when you leave. Otherwise, they're going to clean up the mess for you. Alright guys, that's all the behaviors we're going to cover. I'm going to cover one more piece in this video, and that's about management opportunities. Okay. So, this is actually take number 3 4 of this particular video because dogs are being dogs. Alright, so I said in the last clip, management opportunities, and you're going, now why is management an opportunity? Isn't that kind of copping out for a dog trainer? And no, that's not true at all. Management is a perfectly effective tool for a dog trainer, right? There are some opportunities that I'm not prepared to train through. There are some cases, that I train the dog in front of me, and if my dog is not ready to perform these behaviors to the standard that I need them performed at, then management is where I'm going to go. Now, management is an opportunity. And why is management an opportunity? As a dog trainer, it allows me to always kind of be prepared for the unpreparable, or be prepared for what the unexpected. I can always be ready to do what I need to do for my dogs so that someone is still scavenging for treats. After our last segment, I can always be prepared to do what I need to do for my dogs, even if I don't know what they may necessarily need. Now on Thanksgiving Day, we're going to have family over. We may have other pets over. We're going to be busy prepping food and eating, and if you're at our house, we'll be playing board games, watching movies. So the dogs are always kind of taking a secondary seat. As a dog trainer, my dog's well-being is always going to come first. And I'm also going to understand that I can't always get perfectly well-behaved pieces of furniture out of these living creatures. So that being said, I'm going to have things prepared. I'm going to be ready in my management the day of Thanksgiving. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure my dogs get plenty of exercise throughout the day. Play is something that needs to happen, as is sniffing. And if I don't want my dogs sniffing around in the kitchen, which is going to be kind of hard to stop, I want to at least give them an outlet for sniffing. If you're going to be taking if you're going to be celebrating Thanksgiving dinner, and that's normally when the dogs go for a walk, it's time to take the dog for a walk before then. Either excuse yourself right before, or get their walks out earlier in the day. Be sure to stop and let them sniff along the way. Sniffing is a good way to have a calm dog, because sniffing helps calm dogs down. The next thing is play. Fetch is wonderful, but so is tug of war. And this is Kristoff's favorite tug toy for a reason. It has a whole foot between me and his mouth, right? Tug of war is an excellent exercise. He's looking at it right now. I'm going to throw it before he tries to come get it from me. Tug of war is an excellent way to exercise your dog because it engages them on all their, all levels. It's physically intense. They have to chase it. They have to drag it. Always let your dog win. No, it will not make your dog more aggressive. Tug of war is perfect. And throw in a little fetch with there if you like. That's fine too. Chewing is something that happens, and chewing is something that happens when dogs are stressed. Thanksgiving can be, or the holidays in general, can be a very stressful time. Kongs and other types of chews, these are collagen chews, we don't do bully sticks anymore, are wonderful. I'm going to disappoint him real quick because there's nothing in this Kong. Kongs and chews are wonderful to provide for your dogs. You can always provide more natural chews, like carrots and sweet potatoes, raw. Just make sure you wash them, and in the case of the sweet potatoes, you peel them. In the case of carrots, you cut off the stalks. By providing your dog something to chew on, you are going to help them remain calmer, and chewing is something that needs to happen, of course. And finally, mealtime. You can't skip mealtime. Now, we do cheat a little bit. We give our dogs Thanksgiving plates, but we fix a lot of dog-friendly food. This is a munchie mat. I got mine from D&N Dog Creations, but you can find munchie mats everywhere, on Amazon, PetSmart, etc. Go ahead and have this stuff prepped. If you're going to use a munchie mat on Thanksgiving for their meals, or on Black Friday because you're going to be out at 2 in the morning doing whatever, make sure that this is prepped and ready to go. So all you have to do is pull it out of the bag or out of the box and set it down in front of your dog. Same with Kongs. An hour before you need the Kong is not enough time. Fix these a couple of days before. We put plain Greek yogurt or peanut butter, or sometimes both. If you're using peanut butter, make sure you're using a peanut butter with no artificial sweeteners. Same with the yogurt. Or some of their dog food, their canned dog food, the pate stuff. Put it in here, pack it full, and freeze it. Make sure you freeze it. Preparation is key, and any good dog trainer will tell you that the first step to successfully modifying a behavior is making sure you are prepared to do that. Prepare yourself and prepare your dog. Make sure that your dog has exercised and has had an opportunity to go be a dog. Make sure you have toys on hand so that you can, if your dog needs a little play session, give them a little 10-minute play session, help them burn off some energy. And then when it comes to mealtime, you have their meals prepared, or you're going to give them something delicious to chew on so they are not trying to take food off of your plate. Alright guys, it's a lot of information, and I'm happy to go over it again with you in person or online if you need help. Don't forget I offer online training sessions. Those are $50 a session. We do those through WhatsApp instead of Zoom these days, or Google Meet. If you need help, you have dog training issues or questions, you can always feel free to reach out. And then finally, I am taking clients all through the holidays, and I will be offering walking services. I will not be doing overnights, but just drop-ins. If you're interested in that, please let me know. Otherwise, Ben and Christoph here, and Philip, although you can't quite see him. And we're here to say happy Thanksgiving and happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.